And welcome everyone to another edition of Katz Chats here for the Missouri Valley Conference. Pleased to be joined by Ben McCollum, the head coach of Drake. And as we're talking, Ben, you guys are 4-2, a little bit of a stumble at the beginning, and then you've righted a great win over Bradley. No one thought you'd go undefeated. And certainly maybe you guys, it's not easy, you know that, um, to do so. And so where do you think you guys are at after a minor hiccup here?
Yeah, I think we're in a good place. I think sometimes when you have a lot of success, and for some of the guys, they've had a lot of success throughout their careers, so they know how to handle it. Some of the others just trying to piece together how do you, not because you get arrogant or you stop working, but there's a lot of external praise. And so maybe you want a little bit more for yourself, and maybe you forget what got you to that point. And sometimes that happens, and sometimes you take a loss in the process. And we took a couple. I thought we regrouped well. We do have tough kids that want to fight and compete, and I thought they did a great job of correcting the issue.
So what were the issues that you needed to tweak at that point in, sort of early January?
Yeah, I think the issues are more self-inflicted, where you get so much attention so quickly, and you literally forget what gets you to that point or what got you to that point, and you try to be something that you're not. And it happens with coaches, it happens with players, it happens with managers, it happens with everybody in the program, and it's hard to stop once it starts. And so sometimes it self-corrects, and you take a loss, and then you're like, okay, well, what made us good was this, so let's just do this more and more. And I think we've done that. And obviously the win at Bradley really helps show our guys that, hey, if we do these things, yeah, we're going to be okay.
So this is your first time through the schedule. Um, obviously there can be a little more flying, some obviously plenty of bus. You were familiar with all that obviously in your previous gig. But what's your sense of what you're seeing here out on the road in your sort of your first go through 6 games into the Valley?
It's harder to get the scout because I haven't seen these teams ever, and so you don't really know what they hang their hat on right away. So you have to work through that first, and then after that, then you've got to figure out, okay, what is this team running, and then how are we going to defend it, and then what are they doing defensively? Is this a coach that plays a lot of junk defense? Is it a coach that will completely change his offense or defense for our game? Well, when you haven't been through it, you don't understand that. As far as the travel goes, the travel's a lot easier than it was at Division II. We were on the road for 4 or 5 days and have 2 games, and so that's considerably easier. The first charter flight, we get there, it's like we got on the plane, and then all of a sudden we were there, and I'm like, okay, this is a little ridiculous, but whatever, we'll take it.
To the players' point, obviously you've got a number that you took with you. So I'm curious from their vantage point, A, how they, what are their thoughts on this new way to travel? And then B, they're not familiar with these Valley teams. I mean, sometimes a new coach comes in, there's a lot of holdovers, and they are familiar. So how have you handled that sort of learning curve with the players as well?
Yeah, I think travel wise, I mean, the travel's easier, so it's not a big deal. I think just making sure that we understand to be thankful for what we get. I think at this level, a lot of times you forget to understand how lucky you are, and what you get to do, and then you essentially become spoiled or entitled. And our kids, we make sure that they appreciate everything, and they do a great job of that. As far as understanding opponents, yeah, I think that's probably more from our vantage point. I don't think the players seem to be bothered by it whatsoever. Maybe playing in a new venue, but honestly, we're probably a little better in a new venue. That's not the issue. I think maybe the additional attention that you receive at this level might be the toughest transition. But other than that, it's basketball is the same at this level that was there. Just bigger, stronger, faster athletes is about it.
And lastly, Ben, if we were to talk in a month's time, maybe a couple weeks before Arch Madness, in what way do you hope this team has improved the most?
I think just getting better at the things that you do great, like just being greater at the great things. And I think
And for this team, what's that?
Defensively, just consistently making sure that we're defensively ready to go. Energy wise, making sure that our energy is always up at a high level. Obviously, from an offensive perspective, I guess the things that you'd improve on is try to shoot a little better. We've won games without shooting well at all, but hopefully we can improve on that. And then, just it really comes back to our energy and enthusiasm, our defense, and hang your hat on that and try to win a bunch of games like that.
Well, Ben, always a pleasure catching up with you. Can't wait to see sort of how this Drake team matures over the next couple of weeks.
Yes, sir. Perfect. Thank you.